So very good evening to all. So in the previous lectures, we have discussed about the application of Kirchhoff's laws, that is KVL and KCL. Application of Kirchhoff's voltage law, Kirchhoff's current law to the different networks. Using those Kirchhoff's laws, we can find out the steady state solution of the given network. From that, we can find out the voltage and currents at different parts. And also we are seeing the conversion of star network to delta network, and similarly from delta network to star network. And by using this star to delta conversion, so we can easily simplify the complex network, and we can solve easily. We can obtain the equivalent resistance easily. Okay, so up to now we have discussed about these main important concepts. Okay, so and the next one is effect of electric current. Okay, so when a wire is connected to a voltage source, the current will be passes through that conductor. Okay, so when the current is flowing through the conductor, so it becomes hot after some time. Why it was happening? Okay, so the potential difference, that is voltage, is nothing but difference of the potentials. Okay, positive and negative. When we are connected this potential difference sources to a conductor, so the electrons which are present in the metals, conductor is nothing but metals. Okay, there are free of electrons will be there, and these free of electrons will be attracted towards the opposite side, and they will be rushed to move, fastly. And due to that, what happens, one of the electron will be bombarded with the another electron, and due to that bombardment there is a some heat will be produces, that will consider it is heat will produces. And due to that, that heat corresponds to the how much of amount of current we are flowing through that wire, and how much potential we are applying. Okay, so an electric current is just a directed flow or drift of electrons through a substance. So directed flow or drift. So drift means it will be uh, connects forcefully. Okay, suppose we are connected positive and negative terminals through a wire. Okay, so the electrons in the wire will be moved towards the positive side. Okay, like this, there is a some uh, force will be there, forcefully there will be travels. Okay, and the moving electrons, as they pass through the molecules of the atoms of the substance, collide with other electrons. Okay, so while moving these electrons, they will be collide with other electrons. Due to that, the heat will be produces. So the process of current is always accompanied by generation of heat. So that's why if you are using more amount of the time, the equipments will be becoming very hot. Okay, so the next one is Joule's law of electric heating. Joule's law of electric heating. So the amount of work required to maintain a current of I amperes through a resistance of R ohms for t seconds is given as, so the amount of work we have to required, that is how much of to flow the current in a given conductor, how much of work we have to do. So that is work. Okay, so work done is equals to I square RT joules. So I is the current flowing through the conductor, and that conductor having some resistance. Okay, so the resistance R, and for a given period of time. Okay, it is in terms of time. So that is work done is given as I square RT in terms of joules. The unit is joules. Okay, so that here I is R is equals to V by I. We know that from the Ohm's law we can obtain three formulas. V is equals to IR, I is equals to V by R is equals to V by I. Okay, so from these three formulas, see here, R is equals to V by I. Okay, I is equals to V by R. Okay, so we can write the different formations. So different formations of the um, Ohm's law. So which we are applies here. So R is equals to V by I. So I square, in this I, one I will be cancels. We will get V I into T. That is in terms of VIT joules. Okay. Similarly, VI, the power is a product of voltage and current. Power is nothing but the product of voltage and currents, VI. So here the VI is replaced with W. So watt is power and T. So this gives the work done. And similarly, I is equals to V by R. So in the above this equation, we have VIT. So in this I is replaced by V by R. So we will get V square T by R. V square T by R. Like this, we have different forms of electrical heating. So okay, so this is the work done in the different forms. Okay, so anything we can find out. Suppose they are given voltage and resistance and given time, we can calculate the work done. Okay, so like this we have different formulas. So this work done is converted into the heat and is dissipated away. The amount of heat produced is, okay. So in the previous slide we are seeing about the work done. Okay, so the work done, that is the amount of work is required to maintain 1 amperes of current which should be flowing through the conductor, and that current conductor is having a resistance of R. Okay, and that current should be flowing or allowed to carry about t seconds. Okay, for that maintenance of that current and for that particular amount of time, so how much of work is required? Okay, so that is WD, so work done. Okay, so due to that applying of current, so that is the heat will produce. So here, so the work done. Okay, so due to that applying of current, so the heat will be dissipated. Okay, and that heat, the amount of heat produced, is given as work done divided by mechanical equivalent of heat. So that is J. So work done by J. So where J is the 4.186 joules per calories. Okay, so it can be represented as 4.2 joules per calories approximately, and we can also represent in terms of kilocalories. So 4.186 we can calculate by multiplying 1000 the numerator and denominator for this one, you will get 4186 joules per kilocalories. 4186 joules per kilocalories, and that is approximately equals to 4200 joules per kilocalories. Similarly, by substituting this J value in this work done and J value in the heat, H is equals to different formulas we are obtained from the last slide. Okay, I square RT and VIT. Okay, so just we are applying these different formulas here in the work done, and we will get the four types of heat. Okay, heat produced. Heat is equals to I square RT by 4200 kilocalories. VIT by 4200 WT, that is work. Okay, watts, sorry, not work, it is power, watt into T divided by 4200 kilocalories. So like this we have different forms of the heat. So there is a one example problem. So that is a potential difference of 10 volts is applied across 2.5 ohms resistor. So across a resistor we are applying a 10 volts potential difference, and calculate the current, the power dissipated, and energy transformed into heat in 5 minutes. So here we have to find out the current, power, okay, power, and the energy transformed. So energy, that energy is transformed into heat. Okay, so for the 5 minutes. So for that, the first one is I is equals to, first we have to find out the current. Current I is equals to V by R from the Ohm's law. I is equals to V by R. Okay, so V is the 10 volts and R is the 2.5. So it gives the 4 amperes of the current. Similarly, the power dissipated. So it is nothing but the power. So power is equals to, you can write in terms of voltage and current, V into I. So V into I. So already we have the 10 volts and the current is obtained as 4 amperes. So with this we will get the 40 watts of the power. Okay. So energy, heat energy. Okay, energy is transformed into the heat. So that heat will be H is equals to WT by 4200 kilocalories. Okay. So you can use any one formula which is shown in the previous one. So from that we can obtain the heat. Okay, it is in terms of kilocalories, 2.86 kilocalories. Like this we can calculate the heat generated. So here one thing we can observe is, so here they are given as 5 minutes, so we should convert into the seconds. So 5 into 60. Okay, 5 into 60, that should be modified, that should be take care when you are calculating the value. Similarly, an electric lamp consumes 10 watts of power. An electric lamp consumes 10 watts of power. If the supply voltage is 220 volts, determine the current through the filament, its resistance, and the energy consumed in 20 minutes. Okay, so we are using a electric lamp. Okay, so it's power wattage, we can call it as wattage. So what is the wattage of the electric lamp? So it is 100 watts. Okay, they are given power. The supply voltage is 220 volts and V is given. Supply voltage is nothing but voltage, 220 volts. Okay, and determine the current through the filament. So we have to find out the current I. So we know the formula, power is equals to VI. Power is equals to VI. So from this we will calculate the I. We will get the I. So I is equals to 0.454 amperes from this. Okay, and we have to find the resistance. Okay, P is equals to V square by R. V square by R. So whereas P is equals to VI, I is equals to V by R. I is equals to V by R. Okay. V by R means here already we have V into V square by R. And from this we can calculate the resistance R is equals to V square by P. And from that we will obtain the resistance. Okay. And energy consumed is equals to power into time. Power into time. So P into T, and power P is equals to VI. Power P is equals to VI into time T. So with this we'll get the 120 K kilojoules, 120 kilojoules. So here should remember that 20 minutes is there. So 20 minutes will be converted into the seconds. Minutes will be converted to seconds. Okay. Like this we will get the energy consumed. In previous lecture we are saying about the resistors. In the last lectures we are saying about the resistors. So another element in electrical networks will be considered as a capacitor. So the basic elements in electrical are resistor, capacitor and inductor. So these three are called as passive elements. Passive elements. Okay. And these are the main elements we can use in the electrical circuit. Okay. So capacitor. So previously we have seen the resistor. So resistance, conductance and their equivalent resistance when they are connected in series, when they are connected in parallel, how they will be obtain the equivalent resistance. Similarly, we have a capacitor. So for this also we will discuss the when the capacitors are connected in series, then the capacitors are connected in parallel. What is the equivalent capacitance values that we will see. Okay. So a capacitor consists of two conducting electrodes or surfaces, and these are separated by a insulating medium called dielectric material. So dielectric material will be placed between two conducting surfaces. So that combination will be considered as a capacitor. The main purpose of the capacitor is to store the electrical energy. Okay. So it will use it to store the electrical energy. By separating the charge. Okay. One side will be separates the positive charge carriers, and another side will be stores the negative charge carriers. Positive and negative charge carriers will be stored on two sides of the capacitor. So generally the capacitors have different shapes: circular, rectangular, or spherical, or cylindrical shapes. So different forms are there. The property of capacitor to store electricity may be called its capacitance. So we are saying that it is storing the charge. So charge is nothing but the positive charge and negative charge. It will be represented with coulombs. Okay, coulombs. The capacitor property is to store the electricity. Okay, so that property is called as capacitance. The capacitance of capacitor is defined as the amount of charge required to create a unit potential difference between its plates. So we are saying that one side of the plate is positive potential, another side of the plate is negative potential. So by separating these potentials, it will be formed as a potential source, or we can call it as like a battery. But the storage of this separation is very small value. So that's why you cannot store the energy, store supply, because from the power plants they will generate continuously the power supply continuously to different areas. That power supply you cannot store. So when there is a sufficient requirement for the power supply, According to that, they will be generate the power. They simply, just like our in any industry, we can produce the number of products and we can store somewhere. When we are required, we can utilize. But coming here to the power supply or power sector, there is no storage of that much of power. That's why when there is a water will be present in the dams, according to that we are generating the power. If there is no sufficient water, we cannot produce the power. Suppose there is a possibility of storage of this particular voltage or power, so then we can produce much more of power when there is availability of the water, or when there is sufficient is there. So like that we can do. Okay, so the big problem in the electrical system is we cannot store the energy for a large amount for longer time. We cannot store. So but a small amount of charge can be stored by using the capacitor. Okay, so up to certain amount of charge we can store. After that we cannot store the this charge. Okay, so that is a small amount of charge. The amount of charge required to create a unit potential difference is plates is nothing but the capacitance. Suppose we give q coulomb of charge to one of the two plates of the capacitor, and if a potential difference of volts is established between the two, so then its capacitance is C is equals to Q by V. Here in this case, we are giving the charge, and due to that the potential difference is developing between the plates. Okay, so in the previous resistors, what is happening, it is from the source the current is generating, and that current is passes through the resistor, and that resistor will be produces the voltage drop. Okay, from the source to resistor it is sending the current, but whereas in this case the capacitor, so we are sending the charge carriers to the capacitor, and due to that it is able to store the energy in the form of potential difference. Okay, so we are creating a potential source. PD is a potential difference. We can write a short form as a PD. Where it is? Yeah, PD. Okay. Yeah. PD is nothing but potential difference. So potential difference, we are creating a across the two plates we are creating positive charge and negative charge. No? So that will be considered as potential difference because one is positive charge, another one is negative charge. We can write in short form of PD, potential difference. Okay, so potential difference of V volts is established between the two. Then its capacitance is C is equals to Q by V. So capacitance is the charge required per unit potential difference. So how much charge we have to use to generate the 1 unit potential difference. So 1 volt of generation of voltage on the plates, how much charge we have to use it. So that is nothing but the capacitance. So the unit of the capacitance is coulomb per volt. So Q is equals to CV. So Q is the charge and its units are coulombs, and V is the potential difference and its units are volts. So coulombs per volt, capacitance is coulombs per volt, which is also called as farads. Farad, okay, from the name of Michael Faraday. Okay, so for his name, in honor of his name, so it was Farad. So 1 farad is equals to 1 coulomb per volt. So 1 farad is defined as the capacitance of a capacitor, which requires a charge of 1 coulomb to establish a potential difference of 1 volt. between its plates. Same thing it is there explaining, but it is 1 farad. When we can say 1 farad, the capacitance of the capacitor, which requires a charge of the 1 coulomb, to establish a potential difference of 1 volt. All are 1 volts. One, okay, 1 coulomb and 1 volt. And generally, the 1 farad is the too large. So it is farad is the unit for the capacitance, and generally the farad is the large value of this capacitance. Generally, we can measure in terms of the microfarads, microfarads. That is nothing but picofarads. Microfarads. So that is micro is nothing but 10 to the power of -6. Micro means 10 to the power of -12. So we can call it as a picofarads. So generally we can use the microfarads and picofarads. Farad is very high value. So 1 microfarad is 10 to the power of -6 farads. 1 nanofarads is 10 to the power of -9 farads. 1 microfarad or picofarad is 10 to the power of -12 farads. So cap left indicates the farad. Okay. So capacitance is that property of capacitor which delays and change of voltage across it. So when the capacitors are connected in series, what happens? So the one plate of the capacitor is connected to another plate. Okay, like this we will connect in series. These are connected in series. So here, by the application of the voltage, okay. So here the voltage across C1 is V1. Okay, that is potential drops across the capacitor C1 is the V1, and the voltage drop across C2 is the V2, across the C3 it is V3. Okay. And C1 is the capacitor C1, C2, C3 corresponding capacitors, and V is the applied voltage across the combination, and C is the combined or equivalent or joining capacitors C. Okay, so generally you remember this. So when compared to resistors and the capacitors, there is reverse formulas. When the resistors are connected in series, the resistance or equivalent resistance is equals to R1 plus R2 plus R3. So that is addition of the individual resistors. Okay. So when the resistors are connected in parallel, so you will get the 1 by R equivalent is equals to 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 plus 1 by R3. Okay. So otherwise we can say it is R1 R2 R3 by R1 R2 plus R2 R3 plus R3 R1. Okay. When the resistors are connected in parallel. So for this capacitors, it is just opposite to the resistors. The capacitance of the series circuit. Suppose you consider the two capacitors are connected in series. C1 and C2 are connected in series. Then the equivalent capacitance C equivalent is equals to C1 C2 by C1 plus C2. Okay, so are you getting? When two capacitors are connected in series, the C equivalent is equals to C1 into C2 by C1 plus C2. So as we done in parallel resistors, when the two capacitors are connected in parallel, then the equivalent capacitance is equals to C1 plus C2. Okay. If these three capacitors are connected in parallel, then the net capacitance value or equivalent capacitance value is, when connected in parallel, that is C1 plus C2 plus C3. Just reverse to the resistors combination. Okay. So in series combination, charge on all capacitors is the same, but potential difference across each is different. So because these capacitors are connected in series, the charge is constant for each one, like our resistors. In resistors, the current is the same in a series network. So like this, we have the charge is constant entire capacitors. Okay. So the charge on all capacitors is the same, but potential difference across each is different. So that's why V is equals to V1 plus V2 plus V3. V1 plus V2 plus V3. So the remaining one is the C1, C2, C3, like R1, R2, R3. Okay. So, but here V is equals to Q by C. So Q is equals to CV. Q is equals to CV. From that, V is equals to Q by C. So by writing just V is equals to Q by C, and V1 is equals to Q by C1 plus Q by C2 in place of V2, and V3 is the Q by C3, and the charge is constant. Okay, and that's why 1 by C is equals to 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2 plus 1 by C3, and from that C equivalent is equals to C1 C2 C3 by C1 plus C2 plus C2 C3 plus C3 C1. So when there are three capacitors are connected in series, when there are three capacitors are connected in series, when the two capacitors are connected in series, then C1 C2 by C1 C2 by C1 plus C2. Okay, so like this we have. Okay, I think you are understand these concepts. I think. Okay, so after finding the capacitance C, okay, so after finding the capacitance C, we have to find out the voltage V. So voltage V is equals to V, the voltage across the capacitor C1, the voltage across the capacitor C1. So that is the voltage across the capacitor C1 is V1 is equals to. So what we was done previously. So we have to find out the voltage across C1. So that's why other capacitance value C2 divided by C1 plus C2 into total voltage. So whereas in resistors we will apply, that is the voltage drop across individual resistance is obtained as V1 is equals to V into other resistance value R2 by R1 plus R2. Similarly here we have to find out the voltage drop across C1, that is equals to the total voltage V into suppose two capacitors. Okay, so the other capacitance value is the C2 into V divided by C1 plus C2. If we consider the three capacitors in series, then the voltage drop across C1 is V1 is equals to V into C2 into C3 by C2 into C3 by applied voltage V into C2 into C3 by C1 C2 plus C2 C3 plus C3 C1, like this. V into C2 C3 by C1 plus C2 plus C2 plus C3 plus C3 C1. Okay, for finding out the voltage drop or potential drop across the C2 capacitor, V2 is equals to the total voltage applied V into C1 C3. We don't have that particular resistance. Okay, because this is the parallel combination. Okay, so C1 C3 by the combination summation of the C1 C2. Similarly V3 V into C1 C2 into there is no C3. Like this we can find out the voltage drops or potential drops. So similarly, for capacitors are in parallel. So in the parallel combination, the voltage is same. Voltage is same, but charge is different. Voltage is same, but charge is different. Whereas in series, voltage is different, charge is constant for the capacitors. Okay, when the capacitors are connected in parallel, voltage is same, but capacitance is charge is different. Okay, that's why Q is equals to. So when the capacitors are connected in parallel, Q is equals to Q1 plus Q2 plus Q3, whereas Q is equals to CV, and from this Q1 is equals to C1 V. V is a constant. The applied voltage V is the constant. Q2 is equals to C2 into V. Q3 is equal to C3 into V, and we will cancel the V is cancelled. We will get the C is equals to C1 plus C2 plus C3. So this is the equivalent capacitance when the three capacitors are connected in parallel. So when the capacitors are connected in parallel, we will get the addition of the individual capacitance in terms of the microfarads. Okay, so that's why I'm saying when compared to resistors, it is reverse operations. Okay, for the series connection, we will get the parallel nature. For the parallel combination of resistors, we will calculate the series combination. Okay, so when the parallel connection, we will add the all the capacitors. So here, so calculate the capacitance, equivalent capacitance between these two terminals. So for that, we will come this side. Okay, so here 1 and 2 are in series. So when they are in series, we will get parallel formula, that is 1 into 2 by 1 plus 2, 2 by 3, and this 2 by 3 is in parallel with 4, then becomes parallel means addition of the capacitors. So 4 plus 2 by 3, 4 plus 2 by 3, they obtained for equivalent capacitance value is in series with the 2 ohms. Then the parallel combination, the series means we will obtain, we will give as C1 C2 by C1 plus C2, and obtained capacitance value is in parallel with 3 farads. Okay, so then we can add with the 3, the obtained equivalent capacitance across these will be added to 3. So like that we can get the 4.4 microfarads. Okay, so within 1 minute the session is closing. Okay, so the strength is very less, it is around 18 only.